Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Ginny D's extremely important, I would say pivotal, modern discussion of D&D romance and how she really has fully answered the biggest question about D&D romance herself because she has standing. All right, let's get into this. Okay, so what happened? So and by the way, this is so important, right, that I'm going to give you my warfare view, right? Like I love this. So Alex Garland, he's a director. He did this movie where he was like Just Memories, right? He did a movie about an actual war situation, right? But what he did was he didn't like look up any information about it. He just talked to these soldiers and said, give me your memories of this situation. And then he made the movie based on his memories, based on just the memories of the soldiers, right? No fact, no history, just the memories of the people who were there, right? So I'm going to give you my view of what Ginny D said in her video, right? But I think you'll see that my perception of it was a useful perception, right? And brings forward wisdom and reality and answers. All right. Here's my warfare perception of the video. So I watched the video, right? Here's what I remember. You tell me if I get any of this wrong, because I think this is what she said. Okay, I think my perception matches reality, but I want you to let me know if you think that's the case or not, okay? So she's like, hey, everybody, it's totally, and so, okay, what question is she answering? She's answering a lot of questions in this video, but the biggest question people have about D&D is D&D romance. They're like, hey, I'd like to do a D&D romance with a player character. I've always wanted to try this, but I don't want to risk my own romantic relationships. I don't want to establish a new romantic relationship. Is this safe to do? Can I role play a D&D romance and that not burn down 10 lives, right? And trust and believe, I think all of us have seen these burnt down human lives from D&D romance, right? If you've been around, you've seen it. You have seen it. Oh yeah, everybody, this is just fun. Oh yeah, now we're dating, right? You're like, wait, weren't you two people with other people? And then D&D wait, what happened? Right? Like, we've all seen it. Actually, if you're new, you ain't seen it. But if you've been around for 5 years, you've seen it, right? Like, yeah, you've seen it, right? And it is quite calamitous, like literally lives ruined, like, futures destroyed. Like, it's real. Like, it is very real, right? So people have this question: can I innocently, safely do D&D romance? And guess what? Ginny D answered the question. You cannot. Let's walk there together, okay? So Ginny D is like, hey, so you're doing D&D romance. You get to the point where you and the player characters, you and another player character, you're in the tavern, but then you go up to your tavern, to your room in the inn, and the two of you are sitting on the bed. And do you guys kiss, or do you just have a talk, right? Well, you don't need to do that at the table at an FLGS, right? Just shelve that discussion. And then you and that other player character, you don't need to bother the rest of the table with that. Here's what you can do. And so she gives this advice, right? And I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, Ginny D is doing something unique, and she's teaching people about D&D romance. Oh my goodness, this will be extremely useful. And so she's like, here's this useful thing you can do. You and this other person, you let it go, advance to the next scene. What happened in that scene? You and that other player character are going to answer that together. The two of you are going to go to dinner, right? At a nice restaurant. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was brilliant, Ginny D. You're going to a restaurant because that's a public space, right? And so now people can literally witness you guys together discussing what happened in that room in a safe manner, right? Like, that's, oh my gosh, this is actually going to be highly useful, right? And she's like, and then you discuss it. Oh, but wait, you didn't discuss everything. Oh, and by the way, I got this timestamped, okay? So I'm telling you what I remember, but you can click on the timestamp below and go directly to this part in the video. Tell me if my perception is matching reality. Let's get there, okay? So she's like, oh, but you didn't get all the way there. You didn't discuss all the romance that happened in that room. And now you're at the restaurant, but the restaurant is, but now you're going to go back to your place, and the two of you will discuss at your place. And I'm like, wait a second, that's a second location. Aren't there a bunch of people who are like, when they go into dating, they're always like, whoa, 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 this is a public space. Now we're going into a private space? Wait, isn't there danger here? And then she's like, oh, and then you're in a romantic place together. Oh, and here's a joke about being married. Oh, is that funny or is that terrifying, right? Okay, you're Ginny D, you're doing a video about D&D romance, you give a really good advice on keeping it in a public space, and then you make a joke about it going to a private space, and then you make a joke about that private meeting becoming the two of you actually married. Completely fulfilling the answer to the question. Can you safely engage in D&D romance without somebody by always jumping over that 1 centimeter line and going, this wasn't about the player characters, this is about you and me all the time. It was about you and me all the time. Now we're going to get married, right? Now, wait, Scott, not everybody's going to do that. Of course everybody's going to do that. You want to know why? Because Ginny D just did it, right? Well, what's wrong with Ginny D doing it? Because she knows, she literally started the video saying, I know all the pitfalls of this. I understand how precarious this is, and I want to help you, right? She did help, right? Like, she's like super liberal, super woke, like people who are familiar with Dungeons and Dragons will still turn this into a joke. Right? This will never be taken serious by anyone. People are always ready to jump over the line and turn your greatest fear into reality. Your fear that no one would take this serious, that there would never be two people who would serious, is drop dead a reality. Yes, a super woke, super liberal person who is 100% aware of all the romance problems. This person was a professional cosplayer. You don't think they understand the line between fantasy and reality and when people jump over that line? Right, she does, right? She is highly aware of it. And so what is the question, so where is it? It's always a joke. D&D romance is always a joke. There are never going to be two people who are on the same page, right? And you are always a centimeter away from this turning into ruin, tears and flames, because no one is willing to have a serious conversation. Not even the people who are fully aware of how precarious and dangerous this situation is. They still turn it into a joke, right? Like, there is absolutely no possibility of safe romance in D&D. And if you're out there and you're terrified of D&D romance because you think it will ruin your lives and the lives of 5 other people, you are 100% right. Because even Ginny D, who's 100% aware of the precarious thin line between reality and fantasy, right? And, getting all the way there together is important. Even she couldn't take it seriously for 20 minutes in her discussion. There had to be a joke. And I think that's the reality that's buried. That's the real value of her video, is saying, hey, don't think for a second this is safe. No one takes this seriously. Everybody always wants to get to the bow chicka wow wow, right? It's always there. Even the people who should never even mention the bow chicka wow wow are still going to joke about it because it is a joke. There is absolutely no safety in any D&D romance, and you should keep it out of your game. That's the real answer, right? You have to read between the lines to get there. You very much have to read between the lines to get there. She didn't say it outright. She said it underright, right? Like, you have to really pay attention to get the real answer. But the real answer is there. It's an extremely valuable video. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Absolutely nothing more, absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.